Some people say working from home is the best thing ever. Other people say working from home is the worst thing ever. What is it really? What's the truth? Well, as someone who's been working from home for the past year due to the pandemic, I'm gonna share with you my real truth. In this video, I'm gonna tell you 11 disadvantages of working from home so that you can decide if working from home might be a good mode of work for you or not. Disadvantage number 1, it's easy to get cabin fever working at home when you realize you haven't talked to another actual human for days. Working from home is not really good for extroverts because extroverts find out working from home, there's no water cooler chat, there's no hallway chat, there's no how was your day, how was your weekend. It's typically join a Zoom meeting and just get right down to business. And so if you're somebody who really values interaction with other people, particularly in person, and you do have to work from home, then you might want to consider spending a few hours at a coffee shop every day so that you just feel like you're around more people. If you can't do that, then you might consider just picking up the phone and calling random coworkers and just asking them how they are, just doing a check-in. Just say, hey, it's been a while since we've connected. I just wanted to catch up on things. You can absolutely do that working from home. Most people don't do it, but there's nothing wrong if you do. The second disadvantage about working from home is your boss will have less visibility into the great work you do. What do I mean by visibility? Well, when you're at work and you're working, your boss can see you. And if you're doing a good job, your boss will see that you're doing a good job. When you're working from home, you have to make much more effort to let your boss know the things that you're doing and the great work that you're doing. This is particularly challenging for introverts because introverts don't like bragging about themselves, bragging about their work, sending their boss random things. They're like, hey boss, I just want to let you know the great stuff I did today. But if you're working from home, you do absolutely need to go more out of your way to let your boss know about the things that you're doing so that they don't wonder whether you were at the beach or not. Disadvantage number 3, it's hard to feel what the company culture is like if you're working from home. A lot of companies, the Amazons, the Googles, the Facebooks of the world, they pride themselves in having a fantastic corporate culture. And they say when they hire people, they're hiring people more for a culture fit than actually a skill fit in the organization. How do you feel the culture when you're just sitting at home in your living room, in your home office, in your bedroom, in your pajamas? And this is particularly also difficult for new hires because how do you really get engaged in things? How do you get to know people if you can't meet anybody and you can't really feel that culture? Number 4, people working from home often end up working longer hours. Because you're at home, you wake up in the morning, you check your email, you check your instant message, maybe you make breakfast, you get right back to it again. You eat dinner later, you get back to your email again. Because when you're working from home all the time, you never leave your office. So it's much easier just to kind of nibble on your work all day. This is not something just for me. This is something a lot of my friends that have been tossed into remote work for the pandemic, they report the same thing. They're like, hey, I feel like I'm working longer hours now that I'm not in the office. And so if you do end up working from home, I'd encourage you to have some really good boundaries about when you start work and when you end work so that you don't end up working all day, every day. Number 5, you've got a lot less excuses about coming into work late. You can't blame it on traffic because your only commute is to go from your bedroom to wherever your computer is. You can't blame it on sleeping in late. I guess maybe you can because you could have missed your alarm, but you have a lot less excuses about why you're late to your office when you're working from home. Number 6, if your job requires you to interact with a lot of other people on your team, then working from home is likely a lot less efficient than working in the office. Why? Because when you're at home, you can't just walk down the hallway and chat to your coworker or peek your head over the cubicle wall. You can't read their faces. Maybe you could read it a little bit over a Zoom meeting, but it's just not the same as being in a room with somebody where you can hear them sigh, you can see them look away, you can tell if people understand you. The whole video teleconference thing with Zoom and Skype, it's good. I mean, it's a lot better than just a phone call with no video, but it's really not a replacement for in-person communications. And so you'll find working from home, it's takes a lot more energy and convincing and actually a lot more communication to try to get the same things done that maybe required less before, because you could have a much shorter conversation and people would get what you were trying to say much quicker in person. Disadvantage number 7, working from home, you might feel like you're being left out of important decisions. In particular, if most of your team works on site in the office and you're one or two or a few remote workers, you might find that a lot of decisions are impromptu decisions, things that happen just in person, and then you're like, when did that decision happen? And they're like, oh yeah, we made it an hour ago. And you're like, well, why wasn't I a part of that? And they're like, you weren't here, we didn't think about you. Now, if you are working from home and things like this happen to you, don't take it personally. They likely weren't actually intentionally trying to exclude you, but there's just a little bit of this human out of sight, out of mind thing, and they didn't think about you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You might think there's something wrong with it, but that's not going to help you work with your team any better if you do. Number 8, it's harder to get promoted in the company and work your way up the corporate ladder when you're working from home. I touched about visibility earlier, but the other reason why it's harder to get promoted is often as you move up a corporate ladder in promotions, there's more discussion amongst management peers to decide whether a certain individual is a good fit for open positions. And when you're working from home, you just know a lot less people, and a lot less people in the company know you. So when they're thinking of who can fill that next level position, they just might not be thinking of you because maybe they've never seen you, or if they have, all they've seen is a postage-size stamp of your face on a Zoom meeting. Not the same as if they've seen you in person as a living, breathing person that then they can imagine and say, yeah, that person, I would love to work with them in that position. We should absolutely promote them into that role. Now, on the other hand, this might actually be a positive thing, because if layoffs come, management might forget to lay you off because they never see you. Although I do have a friend that reported the opposite incident. They were working from home. They had a new boss come in. New boss had to do some layoffs. New boss looked at the spreadsheet. It was all just a list of names to that person, started crossing off names, and this friend of mine happened to be one of those names. They didn't work in the office. They never met their boss. They were laid off. Number 9, working from home is not really good for watching your weight. Why? Because you have constant access to your kitchen and your refrigerator working from home, and it's a pretty short walk typically from wherever your work from home area is. When you work in an office to get food, you generally have to walk a lot longer to the vending machine, to the cafeteria. It's not as convenient to eat all day. When you are working from home, you can combat this potentially with increased flexibility for exercise or workouts, because if you've got 30 minutes between meetings, you might be able to just take a walk around the block, head over to your living room, do some at-home yoga, where that's a little bit harder to do in the office. Disadvantage number 10, you often have to pay for a lot more of your work at home equipment than if you worked in the office. And by that, I don't mean your computers and stuff. Pretty much every job is going to provide you the computing equipment that you need, but they're not going to provide you the actual desk that you need. They're not going to provide you the chair that you sit in. And if you're sitting for 8 hours a day for your job and you didn't work from home before, chances are you might not have a really good ergonomic chair. Ergonomic chairs are really expensive. Sitting at home for me on a dining room chair kills my back. The $1,000 office chair, much better. Work doesn't typically pay for your chair at home. Work also typically doesn't pay for your heating at home and your air conditioning at home and your lights at home and your internet at home. And so those are all additional costs you should factor into your brain working from home. Since we've been working from home this past year, our air conditioning bills and our heating bills have been a lot more because we're home in the middle of the day that we were never home before. Number 11, it's often more difficult to focus in your house because in your house, you've got more interruptions, particularly if you live with people, if you live with roommates. If you live by yourself, this isn't a big deal, but when you're at home with other people, there are often just going to be more people that will interrupt you about things that are unrelated to work. In the office, there's likely people that interrupt you, but usually about work-related things. Now, after listening to all these disadvantages, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, Chris, you've outlined a lot of things that are really bad about working from home. Is working from home good for anybody? Yes, working from home is really great for people who don't have to interact with others on a daily basis. In particular, working from home is great for a YouTuber because YouTubers spend most of their time talking to a camera, editing videos, doing things by themselves that don't require interaction with a lot of other people. If your job requires constant interaction with other people, working from home is definitely going to be more difficult than interacting with those people in person. Now, there are tons of benefits about working from home. You don't waste your life stuck in traffic. This is particularly important if you live in big cities like Los Angeles or Washington, D.C. You'll save a lot of money on gas. You'll save a lot of money on dry cleaning and clothes. Hello, shorts and t-shirts for work all day. Well, if you're on a lot of Zoom calls meeting with clients, you might need to wear something dressy up here, but you have no idea what I'm wearing down here. I could totally be wearing a kilt right now, and you would never know. Now, overall, if you're somebody who thrives by being in touch with others, by talking to others, you're gonna hate working from home. On the other hand, if you're somebody who loves quiet time, loves working by themselves, then you may love working from home. Now, if you're looking for a job to work from home or work in the office, you might enjoy my video right here about common mistakes that job seekers make in interviews. To learn all about those mistakes so you don't make them, click right here to watch this video. You'll also find a link in the description below. As usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you right here.